because we were wrong back then, and you are wrong now. Ken has proven over and over that he can be trusted. He's saved all of our lives a million times over, and he has never allowed anyone to lay a hand on my mom. He has been the best friend she ever had and a good friend to me. When the Jabberwocky killed my father, Cass went and dug the grave. I was destroyed by what happened. I blamed myself and didn't even stick around for his funeral. I decided to leave. Jake leaned back in his chair, remembering. I found Kenneth waiting for me on the edge of town, and he begged me to stay. He told me my family needed me, but I wouldn't listen. He told me he knew I'd come back, and he would watch over my family for me until I returned. Then he gave me a hug. No way, Daphne cried. It was the most uncomfortable hug of my life, but I knew I was leaving my family in good hands. I've never spoken badly about Kenneth since, and I never will again. That's fine, but you've seen him. He even told us to leave him alone, Sabrina argued. Yes, he's giving up on himself, but my mother said never will, and that's why she's mad at you, kid. You're giving up on him. She wants you to believe in him like she does, and you don't. It breaks her heart. Listen, I didn't come in here to give you a lecture. In fact, the warden has given me a permission to release you, he said. Is Granny still mad? Daphne asked. Let's just say the last time I saw her like this, your father and I had just been arrested for using a magic wand to turn a teacher into a billy goat. Miss Junga nearly ate her own desk before Mom forced us to change her back. Now your grandmother thinks the two of you can help me. With what? Sabrina asked, tracking down our elusive Goldilocks, he said, gesturing out into the hall. Suddenly, the argument was forgotten, and the girls rushed down the hallway, eager to help their uncle find the mysterious lady. Mirror was waiting for them when they arrived. Mirror showed the girls that what you just showed me, Uncle Jake said. Jake, you know how this works. Poetry activates the magic, Mirror replied. Daphne stepped up to the mirror, to the reflection. Mirror, mirror, my greatest wish is to know what Goldilocks is. Daphne frowned. What? Daphne said. It rhymes. Hardly. Isn't wish to not rhyme. It's close enough. Where's the rhythm and the grammar? Atrocious. Listen, if you want poetry, read some Maya Angelou, Uncle Jake said. Just show us Goldilocks. Mirror frowned, but then as he was asked, Goldilocks appeared in a silver surface. She was standing on the second floor balcony of an elegant hotel. Behind her, through a glass doorway, Sabrina could see a king-size postbed and an expensive-looking antique dresser. There were vines climbing up to the balcony, and pretty boats floating along the sun-dappled water below. Goldilocks looked radiant as the sunshine lit up her face. She sure is pretty, Daphne said. Uncle Jake smiled. Your dad always had great taste in women, but I never understood what they saw in him. Sabrina glanced over to her sleeping father. From what she had managed to piece together, Goldilocks and Henry had had a relationship before he met Sabrina's mother. She had been told they were deeply in love, but a tragedy that killed Grandpa Basil had split them apart. With the help of Uncle Jake, Goldilocks was freed from Fairyport Landing, the first ever after to leave in 200 years. Henry left soon after to start a new life in New York City, free of ever afters. That's where he met the girl's mother. Goldilocks was not at all how Sabrina had imagined her. She had somehow assumed the mysterious ever after would resemble her own mother, Veronica, but were complete opposites. Goldilocks seemed young, almost immature, and there was a look of wonder and curiosity in her eyes. She was always wearing dresses, and her hair was never out of place. Sabrina's mom was an ebony-haired woman who could have easily been a beauty queen in her own right, but she had an easy, casual way about her. She loved blue jeans and flip-flops, baseball caps, and sunshine. Sabrina realized she was comparing the two women, and a twinge of betrayal sent a jolt of pain into her heart. Her father might have loved the strange ever after what, and Goldilocks might be pretty, but she was no Veronica Grimm. Sabrina thought her mother was the best thing that ever happened to her dad. I've been watching her since yesterday, Uncle Jake said. After a little trip in the desert, she headed to the airport and hopped on the flight. I couldn't tell which one, but she seemed like she was in a hurry. She didn't even check any bags. An image in the mirror dissolved, only to be replaced with a view of a flag fluttering from a banister. It was bright red with a border of thorny vines, and on each corner inside there were small figures that looked like saints. In total, there were 6 figures, not including the golden winged lion at its center. The lion wore a shimmering halo and stood guard over a castle on a hill. Sabrina had never seen anything like it and wanted to study it further. Once again, the mirrors changed. This time they saw a mailbox. It was labeled 10. It was stuffed with mail. Sabrina peered at the letters, hoping an address might reveal itself, but what little she could make out was not written in English. Then the mailbox was gone too, replaced by an elegant sign mounted on the side of a luxury hotel. The sign read, Hotel Cipriana. Uncle Jake was smiling from ear to ear. Cool, huh? I'm confused, Sabrina said. We've been watching her travel around for a month. What's different about this time? The difference we have the name of her hotel, Uncle Jake exclaimed. We can write her a letter. Beg her to come back. I think that odd flag we saw might be a big clue. If we can find the country it belongs to, so we can narrow down our search. The language looks Italian, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's in Italy. Italian is spoken all over the world. She could mean Slovenia, San Marino. Italian is even an official language of Switzerland. And how do you suggest we learn all this? Sabrina asked. The library, of course, Uncle Jake said. Not the library. Sabrina groaned. Not the library. What's wrong with the library? Uncle Jake asked. Nothing. The library is fine. It's the librarian that's the problem, Sabrina said. He's a complete idiot, Daphne explained. I thought he was supposed to be the smartest guy in the world, Uncle Jake said. Maybe, but he's still an idiot, Sabrina said. Why can't you go? Uncle Jake shook his head. Someone's got to stay here and keep an eye on Goldilocks. We're going to need the flying carpet to get to the library, Sabrina said as she reached into her pants pocket for a set of the keys to the Hall of Wonders. Before she could hand them over to Mira, Puck entered the room. He said. You two aren't going anywhere without protection. Well, you can forget sending one of your misfits with us, Sabrina said. In fact, you can get rid of the whole team. Listen, Dogface, almost everyone in this town wants you dead. Not that I can blame them, but if you were to die, I know the old lady would want to have a funeral. And if there's a funeral, I know I'm going to have to take a bath. So I will superglue a hobgoblin to my leg if I have to, Puck declared. Sabrina was so angry she thought she might burst into flames. It wasn't that Puck was being stubborn about the stupid security team. It was because he called her Dogface. She knew it shouldn't have mattered. He insulted her all the time. But for some reason, this one stung. Why did it suddenly matter to her that she thought she was ugly? What? No comeback? Puck pressed, clearly surprised. Maybe Puck can fly to the library, Daphne suggested. Excellent idea, Uncle Jake said. Boring. Puck cried. Oh, I'm sorry. I was under the impression that you was some kind of mischief maker. I remember a time when you would have jumped at the chance to sneak out with my mother knowing, Uncle Jake said. Oh, well, I guess you have lost your touch. Puck scowled. I have not lost my touch for mischief. I invented mischief. These days, you seem to act more like a good little boy than anyone called Trickster King. In fact, I'm surprised that people don't mistake you for that other beloved flying boy that won't grow up. What's his name? Don't you say it, Puck warned. I know who you're talking about, Daphne added, winking at her uncle. The one that hangs out with the little girl and her brothers. He can fly too. What's his name? I mean it. Don't you say his name in front of me. That guy's a washed-up has-been. Don't you even compare us. Oh, I remember, Uncle Jake said. You're acting like Peter. Puck let out an angry bellow. Fine, he shouted. I'll go with you, but let's get something straight. I am not some goofy flying boy in green pants. I'm the Trickster King, the spiritual leader of hooligans, good-for-nothings, pranksters, and class clowns. I'm a villain feared worldwide, and don't you forget it. Of course you are, Uncle Jake said. Two enormous insect-like wings popped out of Puck's back. They stood taller than his body, and when he flapped them, the wind decorations blew Sabrina's hair around. He buzzed right over Sabrina's and Daphne's heads, snatching the girls off their feet and whisking them out the open bedroom window. Sabrina saw her uncles wave goodbye as she soared over the forest, bright over the setting sun's palette of oranges, reds, and yellows. Chapter 3. The Mid-Hudson Public Library was a small, quiet building not far from the train station. Its parking lot was empty, as was the lot for the tiny auditorium next to it. When humans had lived in the town, the little library had been a bustling community center. Now that they were gone, it was lonely and dark. It reminded Sabrina of the westerns her mother loved to watch on television. They all seemed to be set in the same barren ghost town. The library had the same abandoned feeling. She expected tumbleweeds to roll by at any moment. Puck lowered the girls to the ground outside the library's front door, and his wings tucked themselves under his hoodie. He sniffed the book and crinkled up his nose. I smell books, he said, repulsed. That's probably because this is a library, Sabrina said, rolling her eyes. It's full of books. No way, why didn't you warn me? What do you think a library was? Daphne asked. I don't know, Puck said. I was hoping it was a place where men fought tigers with their bare hands. I should have known better. You guys never want to do anything fun. Oh, you're not going to be bored in here, Sabrina said. Yeah, I'm warning you in advance, Sabrina said to the fairy boy. You need to stay alone here. The librarian is sort of unpredictable. You should have brought the football helmets, Daphne said to her sister. Sabrina nodded. You're right. We keep forgetting. You two are teasing me, Puck complained. Fine, don't believe us, Sabrina said. You'll see soon enough. She led them through the front door. Inside the library was a disastrous mess. Books, magazines, and newspapers lay scattered about the floor as if a cyclone had blown them off their shelves. Everywhere she looked, Sabrina saw piles of papers and overturned chairs, but not a single soul. Puck's face turned green as if he was about to be sick. Look at all the learning, he moaned. I'm going to lose my lunch. Sabrina grabbed his hand and pulled him down an aisle lined with pancakes. That seems to be the end of this video. I'll send more later. Goodbye.